Alright, returning back to another tutorial to finish where we last left off. And we have narrowed everything down at this point. We've taken out all of the half baths. We've taken out a lot of the most expensive homes because they were brand new construction. And we know that our subject property is a 2003 year built, so it's a little over 10 years old, and that makes a big difference. So we took those out. What we're trying to do is we're trying to see what homes are really close to this one that has 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,800 square feet, 2003. It has a garage, 2 cars. That's a big feature. So I'll look at these things. I'll say acreage sometimes. Do the other properties have a lot more acreage? So I can see the main things. I can also see what this home had or what any others. You know, great room with tray ceiling. A lot of times I'll look for what was new with that property. What things have they put in here that, granite countertops, that's a big feature, right? I will look at stuff like that, and then I'll simply go through and I'll say, okay, out of this, which ones are the most important that are keepers? So here's what I would look at. I would click on the first one and start from here selecting. From here I would say, okay, that's new construction. She's telling me she wanted to list at 167.9. Well, here's a new construction that is available. That would be competition. If a buyer looks at her home for 2003, the square footage is about the same. They're going to look at this home as well, and they're going to see that's priced at 164.9. So if she wants to be at 167, she's already too high. That's too high of a price. I would select that because I would want her to see that. Let's go to the next here after you selected that that's a keeper. The next you can see 189,000, 1,847 square feet. Yeah, we could keep that. It's 1 day on the market. That's a new construction. So if she's wanting to be at 167, new construction starting off, it's a bigger home than hers. You can see here that hers is 1,800 square feet. This is 1,850. So I would want to select that. Go to next. Another new construction, 189.9. You may want to skip over that because it's the same as the last. It's just a different home. Now to pendings. HUD homes. When you see HUD right here, that means that someone didn't make their payments and the bank took over that property. So the bank has repossessed this property. The bank owns it at this point. And you can see here pending is the status. That means it is under contract and a buyer is already trying to close on that property and purchase it. They're already in the closing phase. And this is about the same square footage, same bedrooms and baths because we've narrowed that down. And you can see that's a 2007, so it is newer than our subject property. And what did they add to it? Lovely home with a fully fenced-in yard, features hardwood, granite, vaulted ceilings, wood-burning fireplace, and as is insured, that means they will do any repairs that's needed on the property. So I would say, wow, this is solid research. And priced very low. We're seeing those others at 160. This is at 130, and it's under contract. 17 days on the market. Not surprised it got under contract fast because it's priced correctly. If you click on the picture, we can see all of the features, the inside of the home, the outside, the backyard. So we can see what condition it's in. You can see with this, if you click on the pictures now and scroll through, has a nice raised ceiling. That's a big feature. Looks like a pretty nice, that's granite counters it said. Looks like a nice kitchen. Could use some work. Looks like it needs carpet. Has hardwood in that room. A feature for our area is hardwood flooring. Definitely is a added feature, so that's a plus. If it has hardwood, that means that that's a good thing. If it has carpet, yeah, if it's new carpet, that can be an added value. Hardwood, of course, if it's in good condition, that's a big plus. Has a fenced-in backyard. You can see the backyard's not too big, but it has a fenced-in backyard. So I want to compare that to my property. And what I would also do is when you're going to the last, like, when we printed off this spec sheet, click on the picture of that property, Colin. For an example here, click on the picture and print off, along with this page, go ahead and print off the pictures so that way you can look at those when you're comparing this and say, does that look close? Does this look better? Worse? Go ahead and include that. So we would select that. I would say that's a keeper. That's one I want to look at. And with this, we would go ahead and keep that. And that's new construction pending at 159. She's wanting to sell for 167. I can definitely say that new construction at that amount validates that she's too high at 167. So let's keep going next. Pending 162.5. That's still less. That's a 2002. 0 days on the market though. So we have a 2002, 0 days, and pending before it was even on the market. That's a good sign. At 162, we're real close from where she was listed. She was just overpriced a little bit. Now we go to closed. You can see what is already sold. If you scroll to the bottom of this, you can see the close date, that it was November 15th, 2013. It closed for cash. Sometimes it'll have seller participation, and that means that's closing cost the seller paid for the buyer, which means if this sales price is 148, what it sold for, if they have 0 here, that's actually what the seller received at closing. If it said 5,000, you would go 148 minus 5,000. That would be what the seller received at that point. So 143. And 19 days on the market. This is a keeper. I would want to show this to the seller that I'm meeting with. I would click on the picture, take a look at that. You can see that that's looks like a nice home. Not the best pictures, but looks like a nice home. Basically with this, I would probably include most of these. And here's what I'm going to tell you what I would do. So let's say we have 12 homes, we have new construction. You're scrolling through and everything looks good. The next step that you need to do, I need to have all of this ready for me to go ahead and print these off and be ready to go. So here's what you're going to need to print for each one. And this is the reason that you need the print to PDF. What I need you to do is click on each one of these at that point. You're also going to email me the research, but I need you to print this. It's very important. So we're going to go ahead and print to PDF. So I'm going to print, and I'm going to print to PDF. We're going to do all pages here, portrait, and click print. And what it'll show you is it's going to, in just 1 second, it's going to print up the spec sheet. I need this on each one of these, so I need you to print that off. From there, I need you to click on the picture if it has pictures. If it doesn't have pictures, you don't print anything. Go to next. That doesn't have pictures, you would print that as well. So let's go ahead and print that. We printed that one. And you can see what's happening is we're creating one big file for me just to be able to print these off without having to do too much effort. Let's go to next after we printed that sheet. And you would print that off. I'm wanting to find one with a picture. So here's one we would print off. What we would do is we would print this. And so you can see that we just printed that onto here. And then we would click on the picture. I want to see any inside pictures because I'm going to show this to the seller. So then I would go to print page. I think my files I'm running out of room here to do this. But essentially what I would do is I would print that page. Yeah, I think it's not wanting to work on that. So let's say that you printed that page to this file. The next thing I want to do is save that file in my Dropbox folder. This would be the one we're working with. And I would go CMA for comparable market research for 1419 column. Then I would save that. You've completed your task for me with that note. You have from our email, you have found at least 1 to 2 active properties. The fact that we had 3 or 4 for each category is that's good. That gives me more research to pick and choose which ones I want to work with. We have at least 1 pending property, and we have 2 closed. So you can see here how I would do that if we went back to list. Let's say that we weeded out any after that, when we did the checkbox. Let's say that there was a couple we didn't keep here. We would have those unchecked. You would narrow the listings. And from there, you can see we have at least 1 or 2 active, 1 or 2 pending, 1 or 2 closed. From here, after you have saved all of those printed sheets that we just did here, after you have done that and you've saved it into the correct Dropbox folder for me, labeled CMA dash what the address is, from there you would email me and you would go here and you would type in my address. Well, actually, I'm going to give you a different address that we would do. We would go, we'll just do this for right now. If I change that up, I'll let you know on that. So we would go ahead and you would manually add. You would put the address to send it to me right there. Click manual add. From there, you have to put in an address, unfortunately, or I wish you could just check that box, but you can't. So it's going to go to me. You would put subject, CMA for 1419, colon, and then you could put complete right here. From here, you want to check buyer full report, CMA, and fourth. So you check all of those boxes. Doesn't matter if my signature, and then you would want to send that to me. And from there, I'll show you what it looks like on my end. It's going to come into me. So at this point, what you've just accomplished for me is you have it to where I can open up my CMA research. I can see everything that you've printed off for me with this right here. So I can see what you've printed off. I can see the pictures that we would have added. And from there, I can do the CRS property report, which is the same as tax record that you saved for me. So I can pull that up and print that with the file. And then from there, you got the actual spec sheet from where the subject property was printed. So you've done that for me. So you've done those things. And then finally, you have emailed me the research that you just conducted. And it would come to me. And then I can look. I'm going to get this email saying that it's complete for that property. You've done everything. And from here, I can look at full report. And I can take a look at all of the properties. So I can click on the picture if I want to. I can bring those up. I can also print me a CMA report. That's all of this. If you have any other questions, please feel free to ask me. I can make new videos off of topics from questions that you have. I'd love to help you out. Look forward to working with you.